Okay, everybody, how's it going? Welcome. It's we're doing some hauling today. It's pretty quiet out here. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. Howdy. It's me. It's Weston. So yeah, we're gonna be doing some Elite Dangerous tonight. I just wanted to hang out and I don't know. I've been doing this all day. So I was like, you know what? Let's get in here and do this together, and help me get through the night. But yeah, we're in a new spot of space, as you might be able to tell. If you don't know what that giant fart cloud is over there, it's the Lagoon Nebula. Hey, we'll take a closer look here in a second, but yeah, I'm expanding the frogs way out there. We are way out there. But yeah, the new bubble has officially started. So, you know, first of all, big props to the Mercs of Macoon, because this is probably one of the biggest projects I think Elite has ever had within its community, and it was really done mostly by just the one team and quite a few like smaller helpers out and about. But yeah, this is really, I think, what the colonization is all about. So you know, big congratulations are in order for the Mercs of Macoon reaching the Lagoon Nebula. Very, very, very impressive feat. And yeah, I think this is gonna be like a new bubble once they get built up here in a bit. I mean, they're moving pretty fast. They've always moved pretty fast, but they held off a little bit before maintenance. I don't know if they got tipped off or what, but yeah, they waited a little bit until the new patch dropped and the system sniping kind of thing went away. So yeah, now there is a 30-minute individual hold whenever you complete a colony, and if you are part of a squadron, anyone in that squadron has up to 24 hours after that to choose another system. And then after that 24 hours, it's free game. So I started a little bit further back. I've got one that I got built out here. All of these others, the one that I jumped out of that was past the 24-hour notice. These up here, rightfully so, they're expanding pretty quickly. All of these are still in the 24-hour lockout. So the Mercs are gonna get it filled pretty quickly, and rightfully so, you know, with how much work they put into it. But once that 24 hours is up, as you can see, and there's plenty of space to go around. I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen out here. Whenever I first started building, I was kind of surprised at how well built up a lot of these systems along the pathway have been. They've done a really, really good job with really the whole chain, but at least this final stretch, you know, I didn't take the whole chain out. I just kind of zip-lined it once I saw that they had finally made it. But yeah, even within the 500 distance, you can get pretty much everything you need, everything but the emergency power cells. But even then, it's less than 10 fleet carrier jumps to get back, so it's really not too bad. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with this space. But of course, it would not be a lagoon without some frogs. So that is what we're here to do. You know, I'm not gonna be jumping in and messing around too much with their inner stuff. I'm not super interested in it. And honestly, the inside of the lagoon, it's kind of neat, but it does look like a big fart cloud, if we're being honest. So my game plan is to, you know, get a little bit closer and then hopefully get, you know, a little chain built up for the diamond frogs out here, and be, you know, just our little space along the outer rim, and then eventually slingshot it around and start heading up in this direction, kind of out into the unknown, because this is where a lot of my favorite systems I've ever found have been, up there. I've had a little bit more luck on that side than I have on the western side of the galaxy. So it'll be interesting to see how I do with it. It's going to be a long project. You know, obviously I'm going to want the diamond frogs in control of our systems. But that's going to take up a couple weeks. You know, getting these done just after maintenance, it's going to, you know, I got to wait until Thursday to even get missions up. So it's going to be a little bit. But yeah, you know, I'm fairly sure they're aware of who we are, being anarchy. We're kind of everywhere. But I'm not going to mess with their systems up here too much. And I honestly don't think a whole lot of people are going to have a chance to. Like, they're really moving along. But good for them. You know, I just want something kind of slingshotting around through here. Maybe. We'll see what kind of sights I can get. I think it looks a lot better from the outside than it does from the inside, personally. And yeah, you know, and then once we get the diamond frogs established in a couple systems, and yeah, leave everyone else be, then I can start building them up, because I do have a couple of really interesting things. Like, that's the cool thing about being out this far, is you do get a lot of really interesting systems. I think they've already claimed most of the, like, really unique, like, B stars and stuff. So I don't know how much of that is still around. Wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? I need to pick up my stuff. Oh wait, no. No, I was right. Okay. I'm getting all turned around. But yeah, as I was saying, I think they've claimed most of, like, the really kind of cool looking B stars. And honestly, a couple of the B stars I was looking at was like just the stars. I didn't really have a whole lot of planets or anything. But this system, you know, if I'm gonna come up here and, you know, get all up in their space a little bit, the least I can do is build it up a little bit. So this one I think is going to be a lot of fun. You know, it does have a water world. I'll probably end up building a Coriolis or an Orbis or something like that around here. But you know, we should be respectful and build up at least a little bit. Try and get some large pads out so that they can, you know, utilize that as needed. I mean, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. They're going to be able to move a lot of that stuff up a lot faster than I will. I'm not super concerned about them being able to have, like, a shopping mall in the middle of a nebula. But, you know, while people are getting up and running, you know, the tricky part is, you know, influence is a lot easier to move when the population is low. So, like, I do want to get us up. This has been happening all day with the Super Cruise Assist, just it's not registering. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just a network hiccup or what. But yeah, it's been really funky all day. Slingshot past more than a couple of marks. But yeah, like I said, once we've got our little colonies established, claim our space in the new region, then yeah, build it up. Give other people a chance to shop at our areas. If we're gonna be here, make sure it's useful. But yeah, aside from that, I don't really know what kind of pathway I'm gonna take. It's I think it's a pretty cool view right now, but I could stand to get a little closer. I could be a little closer. It gets really kind of interesting once you get about up here, because it really kind of fills the whole sky. And then after that, we'll just see where the wind takes me. But I've noticed that a couple of them have started going like straight up, trying to get to that nebula that's way up there. I mean, that's going to be another like long project. It's kind of hard to tell because you're going up on the plane instead of just like lateral. But it's a lot farther than you think, getting up there. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff around. I'm sure not long after they get all of this stuff built up, they'll start moving over to like Cat's Paw. There's a couple other nebulas up to the northwest. So, they've got quite a few options on what they decide to do from there. And obviously, like, I'm probably not the only one that's bringing their own faction in. I'm sure there's going to be other people waiting in the wings, trying to stake their claims. So, it's going to get really busy really quick. I'm just trying to get in a little bit early before the rush and kind of go from there. So, who knows what kind of projects are going to happen after this is a little bit more like self-sustaining. Like I said, it's not going to take them long. And especially now that they've made all those changes to colonization with your primaries not cannibalizing each other and all kinds of stuff. It's honestly pretty easy to get the important stuff up and running. It's a lot of hauling. But, it'll get done. It'll get done. They've got a big team. They've got, well, I don't know if it's a very big team. The Mercs are surprisingly a small squadron. They're just very active. So, more power to them, I guess. But in either case, they've got enough people working on it. It's not going to take that long for them to get it built up. And then see what I was talking about. There it goes. I don't know what has been up with this all day. This is like the 6th or 7th time this has happened. You click it and it doesn't do anything. All right. I guess I just need to like pay attention. I just need to pay attention, make sure that it's actually activated before looking at chat. But yeah, I am kind of excited to see what happens and what they can do with all of this. And mostly just try and get a couple systems of my own with some good views. Give other people a chance to like come in and take a look, buy some things with something nice out the window. But it is pretty neat looking at the entire chain. Like, I've seen a lot of complaints, and I've talked about this a billion times, but we're gonna keep talking about it, keep hammering it home, about like bridge systems and how they're empty and all of that. But I think this is really what it's all about, right? It's it's very much like the U.S. interstate system, right? Never taken a good old road trip on a U.S. interstate. It's a lot of nothing with like a brief flashes of towns here and there, and then you get a big city as kind of the end goal. So yeah, this is, I think, going to be really the first big player-made city outside of normal bubble space. Like, there's a couple. I know, I think it's the Fatherhood have built up quite a bit around the California Nebula, and Canon's got their project, and then there's, I think it's maybe the Burr Pit that's trying to do the Sirius stuff, which they've got a lot going on with that project that's even outside the bounds of just normal colonization stuff, right? They gotta get away. They gotta get around a lot of permit locks. But I think a lot of people still consider those like in the bubble, because they're a distance out. Like, I'm not gonna say that it wasn't a lot of work that they put into it, but they're still, I think, within striking distance for a lot of people, versus this highway, which even in my Mandalay was a solid 40 something jumps. So yeah, I mean, this is 4,500 out from Seoul. So yeah, it's a little bit of a different scale. Which is kind of shows the work that they put into it. But you know, they got here. They staked their claim. They officially made it. Congratulations all around. Yay, anarchies. Now it's fair game. That's the way I look at it. They did what they wanted to do, and now it's open season. So let's get in on it, right? We'll see how long it takes to do the BGS stuff and all that. You know, I think most people, even out here, are going to be pretty relaxed. I'm not super concerned. It seems to be kind of an unspoken rule not to mess with people's colonies. And honestly, like I said, I'm not super interested in messing with theirs. I don't want us to expand up here because we've got our own projects actually back out in the bubble in normal frog space that we're worried about. And since expansions are faction wide, it would actually not be a good thing if we expanded out here. I would much rather just get us in control and then just kind of keep everything tempered from there, right? You know, have our name on some things and then leave it be. But, you know, the things can happen out here. It might be kind of a Wild West situation, and the way I look at it is, you know, I'm going to have maybe like 5 systems that they can mess up, and everyone else has a whole nebula of systems that I can single-handedly mess up. So, you know, in terms of numbers, I think they've got a lot more to lose. By they, I just mean really anyone that comes out here. I think we're pretty friendly with the Mercs. I don't know if we really have that much of a relationship with them, but I think a lot of the anarchies we all kind of know each other at this point. So, you know, we'll just see how it goes. And then, yeah, after the things get built up a little bit, and I finish some of my own building projects in the area, you know, this will make a good launch pad for the exploration, because that's really what it's all about. I mean, like I said, that's 40 something jumps that this just saved me by having a new launching pad way up here with all available services and all of that, you know. And it's still close enough that if I decide, you know, I want to go back to the bubble, they got an event or something like that going on, well, you know, you've got some options with that too. So it's not, it's you know, it's an hour or so of travel if you're really zooming, a couple hours if you're taking the FC, but it's not something that's going to take you the entire day, which I think is really the important part. Is you can still get back there before anything that happens is over. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens with that event. You know, they've got the new CG running. They're very clearly leading up to what is presumably the new feature for the end of the year. There's a lot of speculation. You know, originally it seemed like it was going to be tied to exobiology, and now they locked all of those systems around HIP. And now there's like power play stuff going on. It's clear they got something interesting that's going to happen, but I don't know if anyone knows what it's going to be, right? I think one of the more interesting theories that I've seen Or I don't know if I've seen it or if I came up with it. Who knows? Who knows? You know, exobiology is a big thing. I think that's kind of the premier idea. But I think it might be kind of interesting if it allowed us to terraform planets so that like we could build an Earth-like. Like I don't think we're ever going to get landable Earth-likes, but if we could turn a rocky world into an Earth-like and, you know, be orbiting around that, I think that will go a pretty long way, right? It's interesting because it's something that's already in the game, right? Like if you go to Sol and you check it out, like Mars is terraformed. There's a couple of Imperial planets that have been terraformed. In fact, I think the planet that Aisling lives on was a terraformed planet. So, you know, terraformed planets exist in the game, and colonization does have a terraforming economy that doesn't really do anything, and no one really knows how it works. So that could be something that they had put in early that was kind of waiting in the wings for the new feature. So, I mean, it really could go any way. Who really knows? I don't really know. But, you know, it could also be something very simple. It could just be new plants, which is fine. I don't think that would be something that would be too terribly hard to implement. You know, most proc-gen stuff, you can add new assets pretty easily, as long as you're not messing with the underlying terrain. You know, if you're just adding plants that are going to be stuck up on top, then yeah, you should be able to add those in pretty much any kind of proc-gen game pretty easily. You can retroactively add them to older systems that have already been discovered without messing up anything. You just can't mess with the original planet terrain. You know, that was a big thing in No Man's Sky, is that they can't really... It's all a big ball underneath there. It's just a perfectly round sphere, right? So, No Man's Sky, like, they've been adding a lot, but there's certain things that are still very limited that they can't really mess with, because it would mess with the actual terrain itself. So, this could be one of those situations. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know how it's all gonna go. But it could also be something completely different, really. I mean, so far they've done a pretty good job with all of these big new features. I mean, it kind of follows the rest of Elite being a big space theme park MMO, right? Because it is. I mean, it is a theme park MMO. You hear a lot of complaints about there being a lot to do, but not a lot of depth to any of it. And I mean, to be honest, that's kind of the same with most theme park MMOs. Even FF14 has a lot of things in it that are very cool, but not necessarily super deep. So I mean, I don't think that's really out of the ordinary for a game like this. So within that context, I think they've done a pretty good job. I think they've implemented some very interesting things that have a lot of variety to them, to give people, I think more than anything, just options on what they want to do. You know, if you want to do power play, then now you have a whole new power play system to play with. And if you don't want to deal with that, that's cool too, because there's other things in the game that you can do, right? I think that is, you know, one of the big problems with seeing a lot of complaints is that I think a lot of the big complaints that I see are very heavily focused on trying to do it all. And I don't know if it's just because people just don't play other MMOs or what, but it's like, it's very uncommon for one player to do a little of everything in really any MMO. You know, it's very, very uncommon. Like, it's always fun to see the statistics from like WoW and FF14 raids, and it turns out that only like, you know, only 15% of the players have ever completed this tier of raid, right? This time around, only 5% of our player base did a savage raid, right? But it's still a major part of the game. It's just, it's it's not something that everyone necessarily does. And I don't think really anything in Elite is going to be any different, right? You kind of pick and choose what you want to do. That's kind of how MMOs that's how they work. You know, I've said it before, but I think there's a certain sector of the player base that really is just trying to treat it like a hardcore flight sim, and just they kind of forget the MMO aspect of it. Because a lot of them are old heads that played the original Elite, and now this is really the only thing they play. So if you are one of those people, someone that plays a lot of video games, don't worry. It's perfectly fine and normal to not do everything in the game, or for some systems to be a little shallower than others. But, you know, the point of all of it is, I think, shallowness or not aside, they've done a pretty good job with it. I think Vanguards is really the only thing that I've noticed that was just kind of like, okay, it doesn't really change a whole lot. You know, some of the UI changes and how squadrons worked are pretty nice changes. I mean, I'm not mad about them adding them in, but it didn't really shake things up the way the power player colonization did. But it seems like whatever this new thing is going to be another one that really does shake things up pretty significantly. And I'm curious to see how it's going to go. And I do appreciate the fact that it does seem like AppDev is listening. Like, I genuinely didn't think that they would like try and put in a solution to the sniping problem. I really didn't. Like, anyone that's played a game that has limited land plots is you kind of know how nasty it can get, right? And I don't think there's ever been a game with limited land plots that have ever found a perfect solution for it. It's just, it comes with the territory, and it's not like you can have instant systems here. So yeah, I think the solutions that they put in are pretty good. I think they did a good job with it. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how salty people get in the long run over it. But I think that was really the only main concern. I haven't had anyone like try taking things like, I've got the 2 Earthlights back in New Frog in the bubble. But I did notice that a certain notorious user has sniped a couple of my neighbor systems, and it genuinely like pisses me off. Like, I've reported him once because it's very clear that he's doing it specifically to piss people off, right? But yeah, at the very least, like the last time he did it was after maintenance, so he actually had to make a side chain system first before taking like the really cool one. So it's gonna slow things down a little bit, which is good. But yeah, overall, I think very good changes. I think very, very good. I think it solves the grand majority of it. It's not going to solve everything. I'm sure maybe there's someone out there right now that's like, who's this guy in our space, right? They're going to get really mad that I'm sniping. Who knows? I don't know. But I think for like 99% of the cases, it's going to be a decent solution. There's always going to be edge cases. There's like I said, there's no way to avoid it in really any MMO with land claims. It just is, it's going to happen, but it should tamper down on a lot of it. All right. So yeah, this is going to be the stream. This is going to be it. I've got to go back and try and get some water and the CMMs. I've got everything else done except for those. So it shouldn't be too bad. These outposts, you can build them pretty quickly. I'm more just kind of like daunted by the possibilities of this system and what we're gonna do with it once I move my faction up into first, because it is a lot. And I don't know if you noticed or not when I showed the map, but our primary outpost out here It's one of those systems. It's one of those that's really far out. I think I'm like 180,000 out from the main star. So yeah, I've got to deal with that. Thankfully, when you actually go in and claim a system, it scans everything for you so you can move your fleet carrier directly there. But anyone else who wants to come and visit, Godspeed. Have fun. The good news is you only have to do it once. If you got a fleet carrier, you can just hop in here, honk, and then go back. And then your fleet carrier can kind of jump wherever you want in the system. But if you don't have a fleet carrier, yeah, you're going to be here. You're going to be out of here a bit. 192,000. Okay, so yeah, it's a ways out. A little bit. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting system. It's kind of weird because we've got some interesting like double chains and some atmospheric stuff. But a lot of these are just landable with no slots. It's kind of weird system. A lot of the planets I thought would have some building slots did not. So we'll see how that goes. But, you know, again, that's going to be kind of far in the future. We're going to be moving right along onto the next step after this. And then, yeah, the other reason I claimed this instead of like waiting a little bit is I saw how fast this thing was rotating. So I want to go check it out. I think that might be kind of fun to build on. We'll see. Like, I don't think its rotation said it was really that fast. It's fast. It's faster than Earth, but it's not that fast, right? But it looks so fast when you look at it. When you look at it in the screen. So yeah, we'll see. You know, it's got the water world, so I don't want to just like leave it hanging. I'm not gonna be that kind of asshole. We're gonna build up any systems that I claim, at least a little bit. I'm not gonna do what our golden frog did with our main rainbow system. Like they took up every single slot with something. I mean, he has put in months of work into it's essentially our home base now, right? I'm not gonna be doing that. But at the very least, I want it to get a large pads, large pads out there, and make sure that they've got a decent enough market. And by decent enough, I mean not just sell the things that are needed, but they also need to have an ample supply too, right? So we'll just see. So far, I've been pretty good about it. What? There it goes again. That's the third time just in the 30 minutes we've been streaming already. I don't know what's up with it. So yeah, we'll play around and see how things go. We'll see what kind of claims I can end up with, what kind of views that I can get. I mean, that's really the important part, is I just want a good view more than anything else. And then yeah, I'll be moving around off to the right side. The only downside with my pathway that I want to take, and the little chain that I want to make that kind of slingshots, is that whenever I start slingshotting around here, Lagoon Nebula is very, very close to the star suppression band that goes through the center of the galaxy. So at some point, I don't know where it's going to be. I think it starts, I don't know if the number here is this block or if it's that block. I think it's this block. So yeah, I think the suppression band starts here and then goes over here. I think it's like 100, it's 100 light years. It could just be this block. But yeah, so at some point, that's got to be crossed. I mean, we're not going to be reaching that anytime soon. I'm not going to be able to build my chain, my exploration path up through the middle of nowhere nearly as fast as they built the actual highway. But it is something long term that I'm gonna have to deal with as I go up there. And really, if you didn't know it, if you've never visited my streams before and seen a lot of the exploration that I do, because that's really the main thing that I've done, right? There's a suppression field that was basically a glitch. It was basically a bug in the Stellar Forge when the galaxy was created in the game system, where the bubble was originally supposed to have a suppression field around it, so certain star types were not supposed to spawn at the same rate as they would everywhere else in the galaxy. So, you know, wolf rayets, white dwarves, black holes, that kind of thing. They hand-placed a few of them in the bubble, but they're not supposed to be randomly generated. But instead of just the bubble, they accidentally made a cross that goes all the way through the center of the galaxy and then left and right from Sol. So that is the suppression field. And in that field, it means all of your kind of interesting systems that we've tried searching for and stuff on our streams before, they don't exist. They accidentally all got turned into Tauri and dwarf stars, right? So I've seen some people before, like even in my squadron, that are like, what's with these AAA HMAS systems? Why is everyone talking about them? Every time I visit one, it's just a dwarf star. And I'm like, well, are you in the suppression band? They're like, what's that? Well, there's your answer. That's why. Once you leave that band, then you start getting all the interesting systems again, right? So yeah, it's just it's the downside of being where this is. Nothing to be done about it. I guess I could have, instead of moving up here and saying howdy neighbors to the Mercs, I guess I could have just taken that other chain that's kind of making its way over to NGC Nebula. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that quite yet. They've still got a long way to go on that one. They're not going to be reaching that one anytime soon. I figured if we're going to get in on this, if we're bringing the frogs, or no froggy has gone before, we might as well get in on it early and be part of the big town, the big city being built by Macoon right now. And I think that's going to be kind of the fun of it too. It's kind of exciting, honestly. Like, it's something that we've never had in Elite before. I mean, I guess Colonia was kind of that same feeling. But the fact that this is entirely player-made, I think, is what makes it a little bit more exciting. And it can be built up. Like, Colonia, it's kind of cool, but it's not built up in the same way that I think a lot of colonies can be built up. So, we'll just have to see how it goes. But it does kind of feel like, I don't know, like you're getting in on something that's kind of the ground floor of something that's going to be really big in the future. So yeah, we'll have to see what they do with the Inner Nebula. Like I said, I'm not going to be going inside too much. I'll be hanging out around here. But, you know, I'm obviously, like, once they get some of this built, I want to at least go in and visit and see what they've built and see some of the sites. Like, I'm sure they're going to have some really cool bases to visit. You know, this is what they've done in just one day. Like I said, most of these, everything inside the nebula is still on the 24-hour timer. So, I mean, they've already got quite a few in here just within that 24 hours, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of sightseeing things can get built. I'm hoping they have a few designers in there that are thinking about things like that, right? Like, you know, trying to find a good spot to put to put your ports and all of that. Very important. You know, some of my systems I don't care as much if it's a manufacturing system where I'm just trying to get things built, so that we can get some commodities up and running. I don't really care all that much, right? But like my tourism system that we visited not too long ago on stream, you know, I put some thought into where I was going to be placing some of those things. You know, the new Earth-like system that I was working on the last time, you know, that's up and running. It's done. It's you can go visit Hell Holdings over by Colsack if you want to go see it. So yeah, it's up and running. Unfortunately, it's gonna be a bit before that one's built up because I'm way out here now. But I did get the Coriolis, and there's a couple of really cool planets in there. Yeah, that I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do with. I think the other Earth-like world that I've got, it has like those two icy bodies that are practically touching. So I've got a construction site down for a just a tier 1 civilian port or whatever. But once it's built, it's going to look really cool. Because you're basically just going to have a constant moonrise covering the entire horizon. So that'll be kind of fun to land on. You know, in the middle of a green ice field. So yeah. Out here, I haven't seen a whole lot that I'm just like, yes, I need this system. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm trying to avoid taking like anything super fancy, but you know, usually even the regular M-Star systems and stuff have some pretty interesting things once you start getting out here and start getting around nebulas and stuff. But I haven't seen too much. There is one, if you do decide to come out here and start building, there is one station that you should go visit, but you're not going to be able to do anything there. Let me double check and see what it is. So yeah, Dreamer in the Dark. If you come out here and go visit Dreamer in the Dark, the station. That's the station name. It is in LKHA 115. Have fun. That's all I can say about that one. Like, I was looking at the list trying to find where I could like buy water and things, and it was like, okay, you've got this station, let's go buy my water. Needless to say, I did not get my water. Just have to go and visit. In fact, the station, it kind of gave me a headache. Kind of had to clench my cheeks a little bit as I was trying to like exit, trying to leave the area. Yeah, it's a cool system. I can't imagine putting in that much work to build a Coriolis and then having to deal with all of that. But you know, you've already got some cool things to go do sightseeing wise out here. Go give it a look. All right, we can. Thankfully, once I get all of this titanium taken care of, the longest part is going to be waiting on the fleet carrier to jump, because the CMMs and all that we should be able to do in like five runs, I think. Got to like backtrack to a further back system to get the water, and then go back again to try and get all of my CMMs. It's just it's more that it's kind of tricky because it's a surface station. So like out here, you know, unfortunately no trailblazers. So yeah, you got to do it the old school way. So that'll take a little bit of time. But we should be able to get it everything done and get this new station up and running within like 2 hours or so. Give or take, depending on the jumps, right? Let's see. I've also had an issue. Like, I tried to backtrack a little bit at my stations back at the bubble, right? And there were some issues. Like, one of the cool things that they've added that's really, really nice is that you can take a look on here and you can actually see what you need. And you can actually go through and choose individual constructions and all kinds of stuff, right? The problem is sometimes I will take a look, and I've got my spreadsheet up and running and everything through that Disco pages. And so I'll get everything typed out and saved and all of that. But sometimes the numbers will change if I build something like slightly out of order. And I don't know if it's because of the way like some of these stations will like the main ports don't cannibalize each other, but I think a main port can cannibalize from the ports underneath it or something. Like I don't know entirely how it works. But I have noticed that sometimes the numbers will change, and then I have to go back through and backtrack a whole lot, and it's really annoying. So that's something I've been trying to keep an eye out on, but it hasn't been an issue so far here. And I think it's just because I'm building the one at a time, so that's kind of nice. Right. Let's see. All right, so what are we at? Okay, so like 5 loads. Wait, did I get my yeah, I got my non-lethal weapons. That's later down in the list. But it'll be interesting to see like what kind of missions you get out here and all of that. I know that I know some people have been complaining a little bit that it's hard to get like passenger missions up and running. Like some people do have them, some people don't. There really doesn't seem to be much of a rhyme or reason to it. So we'll have to see if any of those can get out here. I don't think like my tourism systems, I don't think I've got any. I think I tried looking and I never really saw any popping up. So I don't think I've got any. But you know, passenger missions are just kind of a nice little change of pace. But most importantly, passenger missions in the right areas can give really, really good materials as rewards. So that's more of what I'm concerned about. It's just materials, right? Like we haven't had too many issues so far with like signal sources spawning or anything like that. That hasn't been an issue. But some of the others are going to be interesting, like the encoded. Oh god, I don't even know how we're going to get encoded out here. And then obviously raw materials. Like you'll get some of the lower end ones from just mining, but like selenium and stuff. I did a Braintree run, what, 2 days ago or something like that. So that's nice. I don't have to worry about that again for another year. But out here, I don't know. I don't know if there are any Braintrees. So yeah, getting some of these if you want to do any kind of engineering is going to be tricky if certain types of missions don't spawn. So we'll have to wait and see how all of that goes. All right. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so it's probably going to be 4, I would guess. 4 more loads. We can do it. Come on, everybody. You just got to believe that we can go and check out some of these other stations. But they are, like, I am surprised at how fast everything is built up. Like, not necessarily, like, the chain itself. Like, the single outposts aren't too bad. But it is pretty impressive how much those changes to colonization economies have really just kind of sped everything up, right? Like, it really does not seem like there's too much of an issue getting a colony built up that's got pretty much everything you need in it, or at least close to it. So yeah, we'll just have to see how things go. I don't know when we can expect other people to be moving out here. I know there were a couple There were a couple of other squadrons that were helping them as like kind of like a cooperative with the mercs. We'll see. I mean, I guess as technically I'm helping now. I don't know if it's a way that they want, but that's okay. Live and learn. Wonder. Thing is, I don't think I've ever visited any of these. Like, I don't know if they've taken any of these systems here that have actually been here before in like one of my previous trips. I just wanted to get in maybe and see what they built, and maybe just kind of like show you guys what the inside of the nebula looks like. Because I'm sure it's going to be really cool, but I don't know like what their like golden systems are, right? I don't know what the ones they want the most are. No? Oh, they're going for the T3 right off. So I'm guessing Herschel 36 is going to be like their main hub. I would have to assume. I mean, like I said, they've been doing really good with the hauling, and they've got like some fairly active members, but at the same time, like, they're not the biggest of squadrons. So even then, a T3's it's an undertaking, man. As someone that's solo built the first Froggy T3, the first Diamond Frog home base, it's a little rough. It's not something I ever recommend doing for your primary port if you can help it. But I'm sure that's got it. It must be a pretty cool system in there. I mean, it's got the unique name and everything. Usually that means they've been God-handed in by FDEF to be, yeah, at least something kind of interesting, as opposed to the normal star stuff, right? So yeah, I'm sure they'll make something out of it. We'll have to see how long it takes them to get built. But, you know, that's the problem now, though, is that if they're gonna start off firing a T3, you know, that's less time to work on the other colonies. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I'm not going inside. I'm not gonna like step on their hard work trying to take over the inside of the nebula. But I can't speak for other random players out there, right? People are gonna be people. It's just how things are. It's the world we live in now. That's gaming. Video games. But then after that, you know, after this, who knows? Like, I've been, man, and like I really want to get some of this built up, and then, you know, get a nice large pad that I can use to get some tritium. And I just really want to take another long trip. I've been getting the itch. I'm so close to 10,000 first discoveries, but every time I start thinking about going out, they keep starting new things. And like, I don't want to leave right when the Halloween event is about ready to start, right? And then after that, there's going to be another new feature. Well, obviously, I don't want to miss that either. So like, when am I going to find the time to just go out there? Like, that's what got me into the game. That's what I'm known for. It's we gotta get back out there sometime soon. What I really need is to buy a Steam Deck, so I can do all of this stuff at work. Because God knows, if you missed my rant last stream about the new job, it's a lot of downtime. I get so bored. And that just makes me so sleepy. So yeah, maybe with these paychecks that I'm finally getting after there's a very long drought, maybe I can just get a Steam Deck and be done with it. I don't know how this would handle with the controller though. I'm straight keyboard mouse. And I think, I don't know, with how many bindings and stuff that I've got just on the keyboard, I don't really know how I would be able to do it on a Steam Deck. Just don't see how I would be able to fit all the buttons. But I guess, you know, if I'm just doing some exploration and going out there, it might not be too bad. You just got to have a jump button and a forward button, and maybe occasionally depressing landing gear down. That's really about it. All right. Once we start auto docking, I'll show you the my first system I built out here. I'm ready. I wish it would go online. Kind of sucks that I got it built so fast after the patch, after maintenance day. Now I gotta wait an entire week to start doing my thing, right? What am I even pressing? What are we doing? What are any of us doing, really? All right. I just like you guys had a really long name. I really didn't choose anything in particular. I was just kind of like, I want something that's fairly close so we can start getting some good views. And if not, you know, if we still have a lockout on the closer systems, then at least be close enough that I can like chain forward a little bit. So I just kind of chose a random one. It's got the big dead ball. Kind of sad that it doesn't have an orbital section. But yeah, this one I think I can work with a little bit. Try and build up some of these. I don't know. I don't think any of them have any geologicals or anything like that, so I don't think I'm gonna get a boost on most of it. But you know, it'll be something. And then we can figure out what I'm gonna do with the water world. Water world, obviously, we're gonna be building a Coriolis at the very minimum. It's got 2 slots, so I wouldn't be opposed to a T3. Like T3s aren't bad when you got all the time in the world. It's really making it your primary station. That's, oh buddy. So yeah, we'll figure out what we're gonna do with this. This has got 2 slots. I don't know, but it does open up some opportunities, and hopefully that means that once I get a large pad here, it'll be a little bit closer to get some water. That is something that they're sorely missing out here. The water station that we got to go to, it's a fair ways out. Unless you want to visit Dreamer in the Dark, which you're not getting water out of that one, but you know, it's a sight to behold. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to trying to help them out a little bit and try getting something up here built that will be an L-pad station to provide water. So yeah, we'll see. But mostly water worlds, you know, our squadron, we're all about population. So we want as big of a system as we can get. So anything that helps boost the population is really what we focus on more than anything else. You know, now that colonization is opened up, we're still proud of being the largest anarchy faction at this point. At least in terms of population, and I think in terms of systems too. I have to go back and take a look. We're pretty high up there. But you know, now the colonization is open, we've kind of realized like we're not gonna beat these guys. Nor do I think we really ever intended to make anything a competition when it comes to like these big chains. But there's no way we can compete against people making, you know, 4,000 light year chains out and about. So like our focus is more the population, which is why I also tend to build up my systems a little bit. I've got a couple that are just the single outpost, just kind of like whatever burn systems. But I do try and build things up whenever I find something interesting and place it. And so far we're doing okay. It's just, man, I gotta round out some of the T3s that I've placed down. That's the other thing, is if you are gonna be building a chain outpost, like the least you can do is at least pop down some other construction sites before you move on. That way, if someone else does decide that they're they're really frustrated and want to round out some of these systems, at least they've got some options, right? I don't know why they would instead of just, choosing their own system to go build out, but it at least gives them the option, right? It's like, hey, if anyone does anything with this system, like, I am keeping tabs on it kind of thing, right? You can place down construction sites from anywhere. Finishing the construction sites, that's a little bit different story. But I am excited about this. We'll see how long it takes to move our faction up. It shouldn't take too long. As long as the population's low. It's just being such a big anarchy faction, our missions are generally a bit shit. Like, they're usually kind of bad. We don't get like any of the cool, like, hey, donate to our cause missions, right? But like, if I can at least get some courier runs, that'll help out a lot. But yeah, the last time I tried to get a conversion point, right? Because that's what it's all about, is getting a conversion point. So you've got a port that you can claim from to move your faction in, right? The last time we did that, I think it took like a month, something like that. Probably a little bit less, but about a month from the time that I decided, hey, I'm actually going to do this, to the time that I actually got it done. The hardest part is just waiting on the wars, because it's all, it's all time locked, right? It's all time blocked. It's, you can only get so much progress done every day. It's a minimum of 4 days to win a war. And you gotta do more of the stuff. So it's not hard. People, even out here, don't seem to be messing with each other's colonies, so I'm not worried about that. It's just waiting for the tick, right? There's only so much that you're going to be able to do every day, and you don't even really know how well you're doing until the tick happens. So there's that too. You're just kind of doing it in the dark and hoping that it works out, hoping you're alone, hope that no one else is trading with any of your ports and messing things up. The nice thing with these initial ports, though, is that there's really no population, which means there's generally no pirates on the first one. I've been running into issues with some of my other systems that are a little bit more built up, where it feels like interdictions every 5 seconds, and it's like, what are you guys doing? You pose no threat to me. Just get out of my way, all right? Unfortunately, old Bartolo here, it doesn't turn all that well. It's loaded up. It's got some firepower. It's just it's not the fastest thing in the world. It's not great. So it can be kind of annoying trying to just say like, oh, I've had enough of this, and actually try shooting the pirates down. Let your security come through and take care of them, right? Alright, so this should be the last one, and then we can go a little bit backwards on the chain and try and get our water, and then yeah, we'll be almost done. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I've been doing most of the day. I just feel like everything that I've been doing lately is building something. We're building here. We're going to be building the GPO studio in FF14. It's just a lot of construction. This is my personal hell. It's construction games. Everyone keeps saying, why don't you play Factorio and all that? I'm like, I would rather shoot myself in the crotch than play those kind of games. And yet here I am Playing the building simulator against all odds. That's okay. Tomorrow we'll play like Deadlock or FF10 or something like that. I am gonna try doing a little bit tomorrow. So I mean, I guess technically it's today at this point. It's just that's where we're at now with the new schedule. This is what working overnight shifts has done to me. So yeah, we'll hopefully play something a little bit more active, a little bit more. Get the blood going a little bit. I think maybe that's what I need more than anything else, to try and stay awake and get onto the new work schedule through the night. Right? I need some games that just really get the adrenaline going, and there's nothing like dealing with the old puppies in a MOBA or a shooter that'll get it going. Probably not in a good way. But hey, at least in Deadlock, I know that I am the problem. At least I know there that it's me. Maybe I should hop into some Crystalline Conflict. Maybe that'll do it. Hop into a game that I know I'm actually good at, as opposed to a game that I know I'm actively hurting the team in. I shouldn't say that. I am getting more and more comfortable with Paige. It's been a couple of days since I played her. So, you know, I'll be a little rusty. But I am getting a little bit better with her. I am getting a little more comfortable with the builds. Like learning how to play it safe and staying behind the team and backing off. So, yeah. It helps that Theta Zero, who is probably one of Deadlock's... He's a really good streamer that does a lot of support role stuff and does a lot of builds and stuff. But he's also a goon. Not a gooner in the way that all you kids these days mean it. I mean, he posts on these something awful BBC message boards. And he's been posting a lot of his builds about Paige over there, and I've been trying to pay attention. I'm more apt to listen to an essay thread and the posters there than I am to just random people on the internet that leave comments on YouTube asking about my build, right? Questions, by the way, that would be answered if you just watched the stream. YouTube is such a wild place, man. It's so wild. I don't get them all that often. I feel like most of you guys that are regular watchers, like, you're very chill. And if you're a new viewer just coming in because you're like, hey, Space Game, we're very chill here. It's generally like a very relaxing time. But one thing that I think a lot of my regular viewers know is that I don't take backseating well. I don't deal with it. I don't put up with it. I will be more likely to troll you in the game than listen to whatever advice is given, right? But the comments are always interesting, like the VOD comments, because sometimes I'll get comments about things that, like, I answered in the stream. So, like, they just heard one thing and immediately had to you know, make a post. They had to type about it, right? It's always really weird because it's always games that you never expect. Like, backseaters are finding new and bold ways to really annoy us. You would expect a little bit of it in something like Elden Ring, right? But strangely, my Elden Ring streams are very chill. I think maybe it's because I'm very blatantly going with an Unga Bunga build, and people know that when they watch, right? But then I'll play something like FF10, or the other day it was FF10. It was like one of the first bosses in FF10 that we were doing. It was maybe the second stream. That I got a comment like in the post about the strategy to beat the boss, like a way to cheese the boss, right? A boss that we beat on the stream. Boss that we beat on the stream. And the VOD was posted like 27 hours ago. So thanks for that advice, buddy. You're really staying on top of it there, aren't you? Like that's the kind of stuff that you get. That's the kind of stuff that you don't always see as viewers, but we definitely see as streamers. Sometimes I let the comments slide because they're just kind of funny, or like they're just kind of like vaguely annoying. But sometimes I'll also delete them because they were just people blatantly being assholes, right? Or just blatantly not even watching what is going on the stream. So yeah, you know, it happens. Okay, that's right. We gotta go places now. Okay, where are you, commodities? Where are you, Inara? Okay, water. Water everywhere. And all the boards did shrink. Alright, there we go. Cool. Alright, now here's the other test. Here's the other fun little bug that I've been getting a lot of. First bug is it not getting into Super Cruise Assist whenever I click Super Cruise Assist. The other one is it going to try auto jumping me? Oh, success. Oh, good. Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes it just starts getting weird and it thinks you're double clicking and then it tries to jump you to a system before you want to jump. Like, I don't want to jump yet. I want to choose where I'm jumping. Where are we going? That's right, R. Monroe. Now we wait for 15 minutes. I'm kind of surprised that it's only 15 minutes though. Like when they announced the new CG, I genuinely expected things to like really go kind of wild. You know, I thought the jump timers were just going to be all over the place. There was a brief little bit, like right after the CG started, that the jump timers got up to like 40, 45 minutes. But whatever they've been doing in the background, it seems to be working. Or maybe just not as many people are playing. Now that they've had their fill again, right? But yeah, it seems like the timers have really not been too bad. I mean, I guess we can like go and explore a little bit. Why don't we? Why don't we go check it out? We got like 15 minutes and Amanda can cross that in like 2 jumps. So yeah, let's get in there and see what they're doing. Let's go and appreciate the hard work that they put into getting all of this stuff up and running and prepped, right? So we've got what is it? We need the Hebert, right? Herschel. There we go. Yeah, let's go check it out. How many jumps is it? Next jump. Yeah. Okay. Not a problem. Good old Mandy. Love you. I think for my next trip, I am going to take the FC out. That's the other reason I'm trying to get some of this built up and getting that tritium ready to go and having my own personal little home base as a launching point is, you know, the last trip that I went out, I just took the Mandy and just kind of ran around aimlessly. I think this next one I do want to take the FC out. I've been kind of on a screenshot kick lately, and it's just, it's too important to me to have my full fleet ready to go. Since I've got exploration versions of just about every ship, including like the cutters and corvettes and that kind of thing. I do in fact have an exploration corvette. And yeah, I want to go out and actually get some screenshots. My last trip, despite it being the longest trip that I've ever taken, distance-wise, not time-wise, but definitely distance-wise, I don't think I took a single screenshot the entire time. I was kind of sad about it. I just really did not find anything out there. I was very surprised at just how little I saw, right? Hmm. Oh, that's a big boy. He's chonky. I never really know whenever I'm jumping nowadays because it defaults to the colonization view. I don't know what kind of star I'm looking at. Huh. Oh, it's like 2 big ones. Huh. Cool. Kind of weird that they're doing a T3 here, though. Like, more props to them. They've already got a fair amount of progress done on it. But like, if I was going to be building T3s, I'd want it on in a system that's a little more worth it. Yeah, you can see like it's kind of cool inside the nebula. It's something a little different. It's all cloudy and stuff. But me personally, like I know they were super worried about a lot of people like coming in and trying to claim all of this stuff before they got here and all of this, which is a valid concern if it's a big project. But me personally, I'm fine on the outskirts. I don't need to look at the butts all day. It does look like farts. I'm sorry, Macoon. I know you guys are really proud of this, and you should be, because you put a lot of work into it, but the inside of the nebula looks like butts. It looks like farts. I gotta be real with you guys. Not my kind of thing. So, you know, the frogs are gonna be here. We're gonna have a presence. Or at least this one lone frog will. But you guys can keep the inside. That's fine. Have fun. I'm more of a fan of the nebulas that have the kind of like blue sheen. Like the a lot of the little like 1-star system nebulas do, and the stellar remnants do. They have the kind of blue star shine over them all. Those are kind of neat. I like those a lot. Nice. Man, they're taking all like they want to. I see why they want it. Oh wow, they actually didn't claim it. Oh, that's kind of a surprise. Because yeah, a lot of these big B-class stars, and I've noticed this a lot just in my general exploration. A lot of B-class stars don't have a whole lot to them. It's just a lot of them are just the star and that's about it. Or they might have some like other stars around them. But in terms of like planetary bodies and stuff, usually there's not a whole lot. It's really bad with Wolf-Rayets. Wolf-Rayets always look really cool, but I don't know if I've seen a single Wolf-Rayet that actually has bodies around it. Every single one I've discovered myself have been just that and nothing else. Like once I start going back out there again, like my favorites are always they're always pulsars and obviously black holes. Black holes of any size system are always a lot of fun. But I've found a lot of really interesting stuff in just regular neutron star systems and white dwarf systems. And there's a lot when you start getting up to the galaxy, so into the galactic core. I think maybe I'll go back and do it. The past few times I've been out, you know, we've been doing just the kind of like normal systems, trying to find a jolly green gas giant, which we have not, by the way. That's still a thing. That's still a goal. That's a life goal for you. And you know, it could at this point take the rest of my life before finding one. Oh, that's a cool system. That's a cool system. Yeah, good job to that guy. To Commander Exel, congratulations, because that's a beast. That is a monster system. I don't know what it looks like with your construction points. I don't know if you're going to have a whole lot you can actually build. But that is an absolute monster to take. Very cool. But yeah. So the last few times we've been out, I haven't really seen a ton that's been super interesting because we've been looking for, you know, something kind of rare and kind of specific. You know, I think the next time out, I'm going to kind of return to what got me started in exploration. And that's just trying to find some cool looking things, take some good screenshots, try and find some cool stuff out there. Instead of like trying to shotgun a bunch of systems specifically to find a gas giant, you know? Which, I mean, that is a goal. But it's all chance. It's all random chance. So it's kind of like there's really no point in just trying to make that the goal. It's just going to have to be one of those things that just you find naturally while you move around. I think returning to my classic version of exploration is just going to be the way to go about it, and just have some fun just being out there among the stars again. To go from there. But I am excited. I mean, it's still a ways away. I don't know when I'm going to do it. You know, the past few trips, I just kind of decided I'm going to go do it, right? And so we'll see. I just really don't want to miss whatever this is going on, right? I don't want to miss whatever weird event they've got cooking. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. What is that? Oh, it's not a water world, it's just a big rocky body. Okay. Curious. But I'm also getting that itch. So we'll see. We'll see how much I can build up in here. Well, out here. Out around this way. See how far I can get before I hit the suppression band. But yeah, we'll see how much I can get some of these built up, and then once I'm comfortable, once I think the frogs have, you know, not necessarily a ton. It's probably not going to be as big as New Frog, but I at least want a few good systems out here. And then once that's done, we'll see where we go. Yeah, I want to start going back out this direction, because that's really where you can kind of tell from my bookmarks where my favorite regions are, because I have not found shit out here. Last time we went up here, I think I ended in this little panhandle before turning back and going back around, because they announced a bunch of new stuff, right? So yeah, I didn't find anything out in this direction, but out here it gets kind of interesting. And you know, it has taken off a lot of pressure not worrying about things like the AAA HMAS systems. I don't think at this point there are any... I don't think I'm going to find any ringed pulsars left. I think all of the ringed neutrons and all of the ringed white dwarfs, I think at this point, have been found. I just can't imagine that there's just like one sitting around somewhere. I feel like all of the black hole Triple H's have kind of been discovered. There's only a few hundred of those throughout the entire galaxy. They've actually been mapped. So, yeah. That goal has ended. But maybe we can find some other interesting things and get some good screenshots, right? We'll just have to wait and see. And who knows, maybe one of these systems that I claim here, because I have not really explored outside Lagoon all that much. I haven't explored a lot of these outer systems along the fringes, trying to find, you know, a good viewing vista, as it were, right? I haven't really explored, so who knows? Maybe I'll find something there. Yeah, let's. How far out am I now? Let me take a look. Am I further out than my? Okay, no. I was going to turn around and see what it looks like from here, but it's actually further out than in my colony. But it does look really cool outside the nebula and looking in, and just kind of a big blob. It's a little more impressive, I think, than the clouds inside. Personally, everyone's got their things they want, right? I'm just thinking about Herschel. Like, I don't know. Maybe they've got another couple of T3s being built at the moment inside in some of those systems we didn't take a look at. I'm a little confused. I mean, it is a cool port, but like, if I'm going to be building a T3 at some point, I want something that's going to sell some things that we can actually use. For a couple reasons. One, if it's going to be a T3, you know, I want it to have a good market. But the other thing is also the population. The T3s are such a huge boost to your population. And that in turn affects how much stuff is actually available in the market. The actual quantities of things, right? So like, yeah, I would have saved it. But you know, if they want to claim it, they got to claim it. But I would have put down an outpost first. But who knows? Maybe they're gonna do 3 T3s. It's their squad, not mine. They can do what they want. They've gotten this far. I guess they don't need me telling them how things work. Oh no! Oh no! I've become the backseater. Oh god! Oh god! What happened? How did it come to this? Scoopin'. All right, am I still gonna beat even roaming around out there? Am I still gonna end up beating my carrier? I think so. We probably will. Oh. But yeah, aside from this has really been about it. You know, I think I've finished most of the K-dramas that I really wanted to look at. I need more. I am very proud though. My parents are on the last episode of Bon Appetit, so I'm very proud of them. They've always held off on watching K-dramas for so long, and to be fair, you know, they still won't watch them with subtitles. My mom's like, I can't watch that one because I have to read it, right? I mean, part of it's because my dad, like, he needs reading glasses and stuff, so he probably can't read subtitles to begin with. That far away on the TV. But like Hotel Del Luna, they never added a dubbed version of it, right? So I've been telling her it's like probably my favorite K-drama, one of my favorites. Any of the Hong sisters, really. But she won't watch it. But Alchemy of Souls does have a dub, so I'm trying to get her to make that the next one. We'll see if it works or not. Yeah, I was very surprised going into the living room one day and there they are watching Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. I'm like, wait a second, what is even going on right now? Like, most of the time my mom just watches like those cop reality shows. That's really about it. That and Antiques Roadshow. Is she finally becoming cultured? Has my years of work finally paid off? We just barely missed it. But hey, good timing on our end. We got it done. Now I gotta load up that water and then turn right around and start going backwards. Another 15-minute jump. But to be fair, Bon Appetit is really good. I really enjoyed it. You know, there were some people that were complaining about the ending. I didn't mind the ending at all. You know, I'm a fan of happy endings, and it does have a happy ending. But I guess in K-drama world, that's not always a good thing. I don't know. It did happen very fast, I will say that. And there's a lot of stuff that's just not explained. But I still enjoyed it. It's a very nice, just one season show. Up, here we go again. Here it goes again. Okay. Right. Nice. There we go. It's always fun to see all of the what's going on at Ross Station? I'm kind of curious. What does Ross Station sell? Why is everyone hanging out around that one? Is it something important? Am I missing out on something here? It is a refinery. Okay. Huh. Oh, probably. No, it's not the insulating membrane. I guess maybe it's just less crowded than the last one for your metals. What are you doing? Turn this off. Maybe it's got some of the other rare stuff that we haven't worried about. Because I had, you know, to be fair, I've just built these outposts, so I don't know what where all the good stations are for all of the all of the other little bits like Muon imagers and HE suits and all of those. I'm sure they've got some systems around here that's got all that. Maybe that's what I can contribute. Put all that to work, right? Oh, that's why. Oh, nice little Earth-like hanging out around here. Very cool, very cool. Good job, good views. What am I saying? I visited this before. Why am I so surprised? Why am I forgetting things? Maybe I'm just tired. I am very sleepy. But I gotta fight it. I gotta keep fighting it as long as I can. The good thing is I'm very chatty when I'm tired. That's, you know how everyone's kind of like a certain type of drunk? You got like the angry drunks, you got the huggy drunks. I'm the chatty one. And they always say that like being so many hours overslept, like over awake, is equivalent to like this much BAC or whatever. So yeah, when I get really tired, I get very chatty, which is good for you guys, I guess. I don't know what we're talking about. You're getting the stream of consciousness tonight. But I gotta find it. I gotta stay up for at least, how does math work? At least 5 more hours, because that would be my normal shift. Right now, I would just be beginning my downtime. I would have just gotten done with all of my like tasks that I gotta do, all the cleaning and all of that, and I will have just started my downtime. And for the next 4 hours, I will have nothing to do. The new job sucks so much. Sucks so much. I mean, the paycheck's good. I can't complain that much about being paid to do nothing. I just wish I was being paid to do this instead. That's what I really wish, right? This is so much more interesting than staring at a hotel lobby. I'm going to be harping on this for the next several months, so you might as well get used to it. What am I doing? I gotta actually go and land at my fleet carrier. Whoops, my bad. That's okay. This will give me a good idea of what kind of distance I'm looking like if I gotta get around the planet, all of that. I've not had much luck with the planets lately. Hasn't been too bad here. But back at the new frog, back in the bubble, I don't know what they did. It used to be that if you clicked your station that you were building and chose that as your jump point, it would put you right next to it. And then whenever they changed things around to put your fleet carrier farther away from any planetary bodies, it messed all of that up. And I feel like every time I've tried landing somewhere close to whatever I'm building, if I click on my actual construction site, it will put me on the other side of the planet. It's been doing it more and more lately. It feels almost like I get more of those than I do good spots. But the entire galaxy has become a Trader Joe's parking lot. This is basically what's happening. And I don't know why. I don't know why it messed it up so much. All right. So how long is this going to take? Let's look at my old spreadsheet. It shouldn't be too bad. This is 0.557 runs. Then I need some fruits and vegetables, which is 0.04. And then it's all CMM from there. It's going to be the timer waiting for the fleet carrier jump. And then after that, who knows? After that, who knows? I mean, obviously we're gonna move on. try and find another one, but I don't know which where we're gonna do it. I don't know if I'll do it from the system we're doing here, if we'll move a little bit further up, kind of creep on up there a little bit, scooch on past them, and go from there. I don't know what their timers were looking like. You know, they had the maintenance, which kind of messed things up too. So it's kind of interesting with the way the new the sniper prevention works. It is kind of interesting because it jumps from like, hey, this one will be available in 2 hours to, hey, this one will be available in like 20. You can tell exactly when the maintenance started. That's all right. That's why we started further back. I don't mind moving up if I have to. At least this was an Oculus too. That's interesting. I don't think I noticed that the first time that I came here to visit. First time I bought some water. Yeah, it's a cool looking Oculus. And it looks like they bought the old custom paint job too. I'm sorry, but I'm not really all about the custom paint jobs. It's too much arcs for me. I still don't even have a T11. I guess I can afford a T11 now. But at this point, I don't know what I would use it for now that we're just hauling. I would like to try it, but I feel like it's going to be one of those things that I'll be okay waiting until it's actually out for credits. It seems like a really cool ship, and to be honest, I do like mining quite a bit. It's just I haven't really been doing a whole lot of it lately. I've been doing nothing but hauling. But yeah, the arcs that I'm saving is more for like name changes and stuff. I gotta change those space bars to a new O'Malley's franchise. Good old O'Malley's Coffee Bar and Payday Loans. Or if it's a tourist resort, it'll be an O'Malley's Luxury Resort and Pawn. They're everywhere, man. No matter where you go, that's the goal of the old Diamond Frogs. No matter where you go, you always have a friendly O'Malley's nearby. And just, you know, keep an eye on the wallet when you're there. We take no responsibility for lost items at an O'Malley's. But hey, the mochas are killer. Alright, let's bring up my old spreadsheet. God, I've made so many bookmarks with this thing. I know there's that new one. I can't remember the name of it. It's the one everyone uses. I couldn't figure it out. Like, you have to like save your system or save your profile or something like that. I could never figure it out. I use the disco.pages.get.dev. It's just a plain old automatic spreadsheet. And if you want to save it, you can click it and then copy that link into your bar and then just save it from there. It's much easier than trying to make profiles and all of that. I don't really deal with all of that. I mean, I guess it would be nice if one day I want to like make a catalog of all my systems. I've got a fair few at this point, and I've got a fair few like structures and everything built within a lot of those systems. So it would be interesting to like make a catalog that's saved, you know, so I can kind of see how everything is going, what percentages of my economies are looking like and that kind of thing. I don't delve too much into the weeds on all of that, but I do like to kind of keep tabs on it. It's very interesting. You guys know that I don't like spreadsheets. I'm not a spreadsheet nerd. I hate the spreadsheet nerds. You're not going to get it from me, right? But the weird part is I do look at a lot of spreadsheets as like part of the analytics thing. I am very good at that kind of stuff. I guess that's just the journalist part of me, right? Because that was most of what I used to do, is having to look at that kind of thing and like explain it to people that don't know what any of it means. CMMs, okay. So yeah, I'm not opposed to looking at them. I just don't I don't play games a certain way just because a spreadsheet says to. I guess that's the big difference, huh? Oh, there's actually, this one's actually moving up pretty good. All right, there's one that's a little bit closer to the location that I usually go, right? So let's put that in. I don't know if I visited this system yet. I have not visited this system. Okay. And I do wish that I could purchase what I needed. How far out is it? 2E 1800 out. Yeah, I think it'll probably be worth it to we'll just go to my old one. We'll just go to my old one. I'll visit this one later. I shouldn't say my old one. It's the McCoon's old. It's the McCoon's old one. But by old one, I just mean the one that's actually gonna let me go to the system map. That's generally what I mean. Okay, so they've had a few move in. All right, that's fine. I actually kind of like parking a little bit further away because the last few times that I visited, it kind of gives me a straight shot to the crater that they built this this port in. Kind of nice, honestly. When visiting these surface sites, man, it's really nice having a straight shot instead of having to crawl your way around half the planet. And then off we go. Yet another fleet carrier jump. But that's all right, because I can hop in the old Mandy and then we'll go visit that other system. Why not? We might as well. We got time to kill. And then it's comes all the way down. That's all it is. It's not gonna be that bad. It's kind of wild how much the Panthers kind of changed things, because like I need what, 4600? Yeah, 4658. And back in the old days of using my cutter, that would have been a daunting task. I would have been looking at that and been like, oh my god, that's like 6 or 7 hauls. And now the Panther is just like, wow, that's only like 3, right? Because yeah, like it used to be kind of like base everything off of like divisible by 1,000, right? And you kind of adjust mentally accordingly from there, like how many runs it's going to take. But with the Panther, when you do that, it's actually less than that. So you can haul more than 1,000 in just one ship. As you can see, I took off the old Prismos. So, you know, hope nothing shoots at me while I'm out here. I haven't had that problem yet. Had a few in the last construction that I built back at the bubble. Those are always kind of funny because you go to those towers and it's weird because the towers have system security, but they don't have a no fire zone. So like even though you're in the middle of the landing process and you're like right next to the tower, pirates will still attack you. And then Brewer Security Corp swarms them. And you get to see the lasers going off. It's kind of funny. But yeah, they were shooting me a little bit last time. And without the Prismos, you know, they were getting me down to like 70% or something. It's, you know, really making me sweat there. But, yeah. I took that out and it does make a difference. Instead of being 1234, it's, you know, 1278 or whatever, or 1298. It doesn't sound like a big difference, but it actually is. When you're adding up all of these runs that you're doing, Like that extra 70 something per load it's nothing to scoff at. Okay. Put all this in. There we go. Switch it up. Let's go and find that other one. That way we can just go ahead and get it in my system map. I mean, I guess I could use the St. Louis. What's something I haven't used in a while? What's something I haven't used in a while? Not the Ozark. That's my battleship. Alright, what do we got? Alright, where is Sarder's site? That's what we're gonna try and find. See how many jumps this is. See, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Obviously, it would be much faster in the Mandy. That's like 2 jumps. I guess it would be 3. I think my Mandy's got an 88 range with what I've got it loaded up with right now. You know what? We're gonna take the old Exploration Corvette. What is my jump range in the Exploration Corvette anyways? Not too bad. Pretty much like if you were using one of the traditional ships, like before they added like all of the super high range stuff and SEOs and all that, this is pretty much what you could expect for an exploration ship. Was, you know, 45. It's respectable. You can cross pretty much anywhere in the galaxy that you want to go visit. You can do it. There might be a couple pain points you got to watch out for, like crossing arms and stuff, like crossing the space between arms, or like if you're trying to go to Beagle Point. But you can generally get anywhere you want to go at 40 plus. It also kind of highlights just how OP the actual exploration ships are. Because yeah, the Annie's around 80, the Mandy's at 88, 89. So, little bit of a difference. Little bit of a difference. Yeah, this is what my exploration ship looks like. I don't think I've got. Do I have? Oh, I don't. That's kind of a surprise. I've got the space in here for it. I guess I never added a an SRV to this one. You know, I do have an SRV in the Mandy. I don't have one in my Anaconda, in the Cloud Kicker, our beloved Cloud Kicker. I need to bring her out of storage, use her a little bit more. I mean, we've covered so much ground in the Cloud Kicker over my time playing Elite over the past two and a half years now. I guess it is about 2 years, because I bought it Christmas 2 years ago. Yeah. I'd say 10,000 first discoveries in 2 years is not bad, on top of all of the other things we do. That's the power of being very poor and not being able to find any decent jobs. You get a lot of free time, right? But yeah, I'd say yeah, we've covered a lot of ground in the Cloud Kicker. You know, the Jane Goodall is obviously a very, very good explorer, as all Mandys are. But there's just something to be said about your beloved first ship, right? Yeah, we need to break her out a little bit more on this next trip out. Think she's due for some more screenshots. It is kind of fun with these nebulas, watching them, because you can see them from pretty far out, right? They're the little black blotches that you see in the galactic range there. But as you get closer and closer in every jump, they just get bigger and bigger. It's kind of cool. I really like that all of the stars that you see really are like a physical space in the game. Like, they're not a physical space that you can reach from whatever system you're in, but the way that they're plotted out is very much where they are going to be when you start going to them in game. This is such an interesting game because it's had so many ups and downs and some kind of weird dev decisions. And, you know, nowadays, I think a lot of the problems that they have is that, you know, the original team that made Elite Dangerous is mostly all but gone at this point, between layoffs and just moving on to other ventures and that kind of thing. I don't know how many people that originally worked on the game are still there. So you've probably got like a lot of newer devs that have a lot of really good ideas, and that's probably one of the reasons you're seeing such a big push for all of this new content. But the downside is the same thing as any other software that has a bunch of new devs, is that you know, they're working with a 10-year-old system, but they don't have that 10 years of experience working with it. So they tend to have a few more bugs with these features than I think they're used to, right? But the point of all of this is that, you know, I think a lot of people focus on that, but when you really kind of step back and look at things like the Gal map and how the stars are charted and how things look as you travel, like, Elite Dangerous is really kind of a technical marvel. Like, the Stellar Forge is legit, right? Like, it does have its limitations, and when you do a lot of exploration, you can kind of tell what those limitations are. Just like there's limitations on anything that does proc gen stuff, right? But on a broad scale, like, yeah, man, the Stellar Forge is legit. Like, it's really kind of cool what they were able to do with this, right? And I know that there's always someone that's going to be like, well, Star Citizen, it's a full life sim and all those others. First of all, get out of here. Get out of here, Star Citizen. Go to another stream. We don't need that talk here. But yeah, sure, it's cool that you can pick up soda cans or whatever in Star Citizen. But in terms of like how it's actually created space, like, there's no comparison. There's really no comparison in any space game on how it's created space. Like, you kind of have to go back and like look at some of the old school stuff like Freelancer and stuff. There's really just, I don't think anything like Elite these days. It'd be cool if there was more stuff like it. And there's a few independent projects that are like, they're games, but they're not. They're almost more like educational tools. And they've done some pretty cool stuff with creating the galaxy and like showing certain star types and that kind of thing. But they don't obviously do quite as much with actual gameplay or different ships and that kind of thing, right? But yeah, you know, Elite really is, it's a very small niche, which is kind of surprising because it feels like people are always looking for a really good space game, but no one ever wants to develop one. So, you know, in that small pond, I think Elite is really kind of the top dog. You know, the other one's No Man's Sky, but I almost consider No Man's Sky to be, I don't know, it's more of like a base builder to me. It's more about the planetary stuff. Like, it has a space and sci-fi setting, but it's not quite in the same way that Elite is. You know, I've said before that I think they complement each other really well. Elite doesn't do the ground stuff all that well, but it's obviously king at the space sims. Whereas No Man's Sky, the space stuff is actually kind of an afterthought. It's just a way to get from A to B with a cool looking shell on it. And then the ground stuff is really where it's all about, where you are basically doing Minecraft stuff. on whatever planets you want to go visit. Yeah, I would like to see this grow. That's one reason I stream it quite a bit, is I think the game does deserve a lot more love than it gets. I think there's a lot of people that just don't even know about the game, or don't know that it's still around. Like sometimes I get a lot of people that are like, wow, people still play Elite, right? And yeah, people still play it. I think I think a lot of people that got burned by Odyssey maybe don't realize that they've done a good job with kind of turning things around and fixing some of the issues. There's that. Oh wow, that did actually almost take 15 minutes. That's kind of a surprise. So yeah, if you've been wondering how things are going since Odyssey, I'd say it's going pretty good. It still runs kind of choppy on the ground. So, if you're running an older computer and, your main reason for leaving during Odyssey was technical, I don't know if all of that's completely fixed. It's better than it was, but it's still not great, right? But in terms of like the actual content, like I don't mind the ground stuff. I kind of like it. I was talking with my Discord with the froggies the other day, because we've got a couple new frogs that have been checking out the game, and they just had the autumn sale where this was like $2, and you get a lot of content. And they were asking about like pulling cores and stuff in Odyssey settlements, and that's one of my favorite parts of the game. It's one of my favorite BGS activities to do. I really like it. It's not super hard. It's not super involved. The shooting is obviously not going to be like Battlefield, right? It's very pared down, but I still think it's fun. Like I think simple can be fun, and I think that's something people often forget. Is like it doesn't have to be super deep. And the thing is, like, if you're doing it the way that I was showing off on the stream the other day, like, it's still kind of involved. You got to sneak around. You got to find the level 3 guys. You got to make sure you're not, pulling all the guards. You want to make sure to turn off the alarms. Like, there is, like, a routine to it that's, I don't know, I find it kind of relaxing almost after spending so much time doing hauling and, space stuff. It's kind of nice to feel like you're actually landing on a planet and, tearing apart a settlement or something like that. So yeah, I think the Odyssey stuff is pretty good. And if you're here on the channel just because you like watching VTubers or you're a regular here, and you want to know what I do, if you've never heard of the game, then give it a look. You can usually find it very cheap. Autumn sale is obviously done. But winter sale is going to be right around the corner, and it will probably be less than $5 again. So if you're looking for a very cool space sim, give this one a look. Now, it does have a very steep learning curve at first. It's a lot of buttons. You gotta go through a lot of key bindings to learn how to fly. But honestly, I heard a lot of people, harping on that when I first started. I was showing off some of my photos on Reddit, and they're like, oh, you've only been playing 2 weeks playtime. How in the world do you already have an Anaconda? You shouldn't have an Anaconda yet. What are you doing? You're going to mess up. It all depends on your history. If you've played other video games before, if you've played other MMOs, hell, if you've played No Man's Sky, I don't think you're going to have as much of an issue learning to fly and getting used to a lot of the controls as I think a lot of people like to harp on. I think a lot of those people that are like issuing a ton of warnings, like I said, I think they might not just play a lot of other games. But going from FF14, where I have 18 buttons bound to just by mouse, like it really was not that bad learning how to fly here. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but trust me, you can do it. If you've never played this game and that's what's holding you back, do it anyways. You will probably have fun. It's really not bad at all. But that being said, I think I'm gonna finish up this round of CMMs. and maybe try and rest. But I think we're gonna go ahead and end the stream here. But thanks a ton for coming out and checking some things out. Again, if you missed the beginning of the stream, the Mercs of Macoon have officially reached the Lagoon Nebula. In case you couldn't tell from the 50 times we've hit the Gal map at this point. So they out here. They made it. Again, congratulations to the Mercs. Job well done. It's very impressive everything that they've done. But now it's time to, have the frog welcoming committee here to just have our little spaces out and about and just be like, hey, welcome. It's not a lagoon without some frogs, right? So yeah, we'll see where this goes. I'm excited to kind of start building out here and get around and start yeeting myself out into the black over here. But it'll be fun hanging out over here and seeing how this gets built up. And if anyone else comes out here, if we get another crowd of people that are not, part of the Mercs or any of the other big squadrons and see what people do with this. I think it's going to be a really cool hub. I think they're going to do a good job with it. And this will be really the first really big city on the old intergalactic highway that is colonization right now. So yeah, but there you have it. Come out and see everyone. Come out and join us. We'll see how fast they get it built up. But I think they're well on their way. But yeah, good job, guys. Yay. We'll be back tomorrow with something else. I don't know what yet. We're just going to vibe, have some fun, maybe play something action-oriented. I don't know. But that's going to be it for tonight. Take care, everybody. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bye-bye.